Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Movement. The Movement is a progressive and cutting-edge cable access show featuring emerging artists and all artists of the world. Tonight, we're going to have some young men here talking about some of the things that are on their mind. Let's open it up to the panel.
Yes.
Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, we can start with me. My name is Laquan Torre, a.k.a. Loose Torre, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to have you here.
Yes.
Hey, I'm Chris, and I just happen to be his little brother.
This is it's actually my little brother.
The youngest.
All right,
and,
all right.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on the show.
I'm glad you're here, too.
I'm Jelani, a.k.a. Jelani Wazo. That's my full stage name.
Nice to have you here, too.
My name is Malcolm, a.k.a. MR. Definitely glad to be here to talk with y'all.
My name is Jerome. I'm actually his older brother, Luce's older brother. Came here for moral support, and we're going to talk about some things.
All right, now. So let's get it rolling. The first thing up on the table is men in prison with the young sons following behind them. What do you have to say about that? I'm opening up to the panel.
Well, I believe that, and I'm pretty sure that everyone at this table can agree that it's not a coincidence that a lot of fathers are being locked up and their sons are being locked up behind them. I don't believe that all responsibility is taking off of them, but I do believe that it's a trap. I believe that we're set up. I don't believe that, statistically speaking, I'm supposed to be dead or in jail, and so is my father. And like statistics being taken, where I came up, where I was born, where I was raised, South Bronx. That's where I was born, and I stayed there till I was 4, and like been in every hood in New York City. Statistically speaking, I'm supposed to be locked up, but I'm not. And then the reason why I'm not is because I understand the difference between right and wrong, and I made right choices. But I do believe that it's not a coincidence, and yeah, it is a trap.
I feel as Americans, we try to put a very sophisticated liberal facade of what we do. We're at qualms with the Chinese, right? Because they're counterfeiting our money, and we talk about what free labor is and child labor laws in China, whatever, in Asia in general. But at the same time, we need our own Chinese. We need our own labor force. And we need it as the Chinese have it, but we need to put it in a nice, liberal, American way. What's the best possible scenario to do that? And there's only one way, and that's prison. People who are pre-selected to go to prison by the time they hit 3rd grade, and people know who they are, how they are, what they're doing. They're ready looking at that jail cell. Everyone is looking at them, looking at that jail cell, and they're doing everything in their power to make sure you stay there, to feed this economy that's struggling, and to feed those suburbs, upstate New York, in the middle of nowheres, in the middle of America. There's that prison there that's still keeping that city alive. So it's a necessary evil for a country to have prisons.
They shut down schools to open up prisons.
Yeah.
I think that happened recently around in Brooklyn somewhere. They've shut down schools to open prisons.
Brownsville.
They've been doing it all over the city.
Brownsville.
All over the city. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that the schools should be closing. They do that so there could be more black children out on the streets, so they could put more black children in prison. If you ain't going to school, you hanging out on the street, that's a little remedy for trouble, and you know, there you go.
To me, 'cause I have a whole different take on this. It's a system that we have. Under this system is a democracy, but really, it's something else. It's just facaded under a democracy. You understand what I'm saying? So now you got it's like wolf in sheep's clothing. Oh, we're doing good. Oh, our economy is up. Oh, this is up. You know what I'm saying? But behind the scenes, there are strings being pulled to make it look like a democracy. But I mean, really, you know what I'm saying? It's something else. Now, I have a whole different sort of, you know, outlook on this whole system. But that's for another show. Right now, we're talking about people being put in jail, why they're being put in jail, and really, like we spoke about before, it's a trap, you know, and it's being laid out for the people who don't know any better, just like Jelani said, for the people in the hood who are uneducated.
Yeah,
now, why are we at this point and we're not in jail? Because it might be that we're educated on certain things, and it really starts. I think it really starts in the home, and then you got the school system too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The school system is not teaching us what we're supposed to know.
You got that right.
And so that's there we go. We growing up in a trap, and we're learning about a trap. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's as taking off from what you said with the school system. I think it's very important to be educated as far as school,
Absolutely.
but it's even more important to educate yourself, to make sure you know what's going on. Listen to what they have in school, of course, get good grades, but make sure you stay smart. You know?
And in regards to that, with the schooling, the prison system is the result of our economy. Literally, it's down to money. It's down to, you know, dollars and cents. We're ignoring so many other things that are leading children to the prison system. Why are children go to prison system? Would you give an example of broken homes? Broken homes leads to a child who does not want to stay awake in class, you know, who does not want to move forward in class or in his own life because his when he goes back home, it's messed up.
Yeah.
You know, when he goes to school, it's messed up because it's overcrowded, which is a problem. Our educational system is the worst.
Yeah.
Truly the worst. And then another thing you look at is that we're 13% of the population as Americans. We're as African Americans, in Latinos.
Yeah, but we're about 90% of the imprisonment.
Well, they say 60, but I mean, true numbers, you know, numbers don't lie. Maybe there's way more in that you can actually measure. But there's so many unanswered issues that instead of like, all right, listen, how does a family break down? How does a community break down? How does this whole block, how does this whole span of area mess up? You know, how can we fix that? No, we need to fix this. We need to fix our issues, foreign, abroad, domestic. So let's just make the money we can now. Let's throw them behind a jail cell. Let's put them to work. You know,
Exactly.
And it's
slavery
it's one problem
all
over the other.
over again. And that's what happens when you are home. They take the head of the household out of the house.
Exactly.
That then the body falls. You know what I'm saying? So now the kids don't have no food to eat. So when they go to school, they're not studying because they have lack of nourishment. And then the teachers having a problem because they can't keep their eyes open. Who can actually go to school and do any work when you're not even
that
eating?
leads to a whole nother set of problems.
I mean, the hunger.
With the food deserts that are in this community today. Food deserts, meaning there's nothing of nutritional value that's giving children the competence to even stay awake in class.
Exactly.
You know, forget liquor stores and gun stores in every corner. When you have
but that's for the white people.
When you have street meat on every single corner, Kennedy's
that's
on every
for them.
single corner. You know, when you have so many things that that give nothing, that does not nourish you at all. Like Detroit, they were suffering from a food desert and are still suffering. Places in Cali, places in Chicago, you know, that alone is just a whole set of problems that instead of, let's say, let's go to the root cause, let's put forth legislation, go to the root cause, let's really get vested into this, because now we fix our economy to just throw a whole bunch of healthcare monopoly psychopaths in their wake to pick up these diabetic, high blood pressure ridden children who are on this path, cancer ridden children who are on this path, because blacks still, we have the higher cancer rate too, even though that's not publicized. Instead of that, let's just give them medication for it, you know? And the ones who do not seem to keep up, let's just give them an ADD or a ADHD pass and make more money off of their retardation and throw them in another class, you know? Because these classes are overcrowded, we don't know how to fix this.
Well, they're not retarded, they're disabled.
In terms,
they're disabled.
There was a New York Times article, there's a misdiagnosis of how many children are ADD. Of course, ADD is serious, it's prevalent, how teachers should approach children should be changed, but people are over abusing ADD medication. College students are doing that to get better in school, to keep them focused, you know, but doctors are going straight to that because it's like, you know what, this kid is not paying attention, this kid is hyperactive. This kid just got out of a household that could be a hyperactive household where there's so much going on.
Exactly.
Running in and out.
And to put something on that, when I was in first grade, they told me I was dyslexic.
Exactly.
You know, because I'm not listening, I'm not doing stuff. I'm dyslexic. Now I have that in my mind, like, oh, it's not the fact that this is me. You know, I just can't read. That's me. You know, my mom heard that, said, "No, I'm taking you out that school. We're going to a different school this summer. You're going to the library every day. I can read like nothing now. I got awards for reading now. You know, it's horrible.
It's just, there goes somebody putting a label on you,
Exactly.
and it's not true. And that we talk about the misdiagnosis of ADHD and things of that nature. You know, what all you have to do is go ahead and pick up a book. Go ahead and give the time to your children. Give the time to read. And I feel that strongly as a parent, because now I have children in school, and my kid gets bored because of what the teacher's not teaching him as much as he needs to know. So now my kid's getting bored, but I mean, it's like, all right, what are you gonna do? You're gonna pull him out of this school and then put him in another school for the same thing that happened? So now it is a crossroads of you doing what you have to do as a parent. But keep your child busy at home. That's one of the remedies that you can do for having your child not fall behind or fall into this system of things, you know, of a miseducation, really.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I had a teacher in high school, straight up, she came in, you know, didn't say anything, she was chilling, and we was all sitting there like, okay, when you go to start the class? And she straight up looked at us and told, listen, I get paid to be here.
I'm on a pension.
I get paid to be here.
I'm on a tenure. You know,
I'm not feeling good today. Y'all just sit there and I'm gonna get paid. And it was like, whoa.
You know, and you can't, for me, from my background, I can't blame the teachers, you can't blame the parents, you can't blame the principal, you can't blame the actual people you see in there doing obviously the wrong things, you know, because that parent who is so overworked they cannot sit down with their child. There's so many things that are keeping them from dealing with their child. They need to keep food on the table. That's priority number one.
Exactly.
That teacher is like, yo, I got to meet a quota. And that principal is like, I got to keep this funding going. So there's fundamental issues there that as a community or as just people sitting down like right now, we can be like, yo, how can we attack this from this direction? You know.
I want to say this, and I want the camera to like really get in on this. Teach your children, parents. Teach your children, because I make it a point, and I tell you one thing: there's no excuse to have your child up there falling behind in class, not knowing what I didn't get math till I was in the 7th grade, and you know why? The teacher broke it down, step by step, from step 1 to step 15. Do that with your child. I work 60 hours a week. Have your children sit down with them on the weekend when you get free time. Sit down with your children and teach your children. I taught my child math the other day because I felt that I knew what it was to be a child left behind. And I knew what it was. I knew what it was to be a child left behind. But guess what? I picked that math book up. That teacher showed me. It took me 15 minutes to learn.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Teach your children. I work 60 hours a week. Teach your children. Don't let that be the excuse that you work too much.
Right.
Exactly. I'm so sick of this whole oh, mama's gotta have a life too, daddy's gotta have a life too. No, your kid just got home trying to do his homework and you're trying to go out clubbing. You know, you have kids having kids and not dealing with kids. They leave them on grandma's door and then they get mad when their kid calls them sister and their grandma mommy.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. If you want to be called mommy, act like a mommy. If you want to be called daddy, act like a daddy. Yeah. Be there. Teach them something.
But the bottom line is that it takes a village to raise your children.
Yes.
So, you know, when I was growing up, everybody, you know, chimed in on helping everybody. And if I did something wrong, your mother would slap me up and bring me to my mother, and then she would slap me up. Exactly. You know, and that's how it worked.
That's definitely what happened when. That's why I am the way I am today. Because when I was young, my mom would be working. I'd be down the block doing whatever. A neighbor would see me. I'd get a beating from them.
Yeah.
They'd bring me to where my mom's working. I'd get a beating from her at her job.
Yeah.
Just to be embarrassed more. Get home, get a beating again. My dad gets home. I'm getting another beating.
Yeah.
Just to show. Listen, don't.
Yeah.
You know, stay on point with what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, we have to look good as a unit. You have to grow up to be somebody.
And then that's when you get out of that trap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's when you get out of that trap.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? I mean, this system is a trap upon a trap upon a trap upon a trap.
I tell you.
And be that as it may, there's a lot of kids that don't get that opportunity to grow and realize or have somebody around them that has enough sense to grow and realize, hey, I can get out of this trap. It's up to me. But like you said, it does take a village to raise a child. But that child, it is up to that child to get up out of that trap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you're surrounded by that whole, you know, by people who don't have that sense, it's kind of hard for them. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you grow up being affected by that.
You know, and I used to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. When I was growing up, there was this, we used to always say, how come the drugs are in our community? Why are there so much drugs in our community, the black, poor community? And, you know, and the police are not doing anything about it until, like, the Kennedys started coming into our community to buy drugs. And then one of the Kennedys OD'd off some of the heroin or whatever that was over there. You know, it's like, then they started wanting to clean up.
Exactly.
You know, but I was like, you know, they put that stuff out there in the poor community, so that's one way to keep them down. Keep you down, you don't get to rise above any poverty level. You know, the same old cycle happens again. You go to jail, your father go to jail, your mother go to jail, everybody goes to jail.
Exactly.
You know,
there's certain things in America that they've been proven, and they're not advertised, like shown on TV. Like, listen, this is what happened. Y'all need to do something about this.
Yeah.
Nothing like the other day, I found out it was proven in court, that Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated by the government. Like, this isn't something that, it's not a theory or something. This was proven in court. Like, it was they were taken to court, and this is like something real. I was just so astounded, like, so nobody's doing nothing about this. We're just here.
It's history now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's like somebody you know who's gay is coming out of the closet. It's like, okay, yeah, we know you're that. We know. We saw it coming.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King was killed by the government. We know. but it's in court now. Oh wow, it's on the record. It's on the record.
Exactly, and it's like,
Wow.
Nobody
what,
cares about it.
what we're gonna
No.
do about it?
Yeah.
And the thing is, nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like obviously it's in your mind. Like, of course they did it, but it's like,
Yeah.
Wow.
no, it's proven. This is fact.
It
you
really
can
happened.
open,
We're
you can
not-
open a Snapple top and see it. You know,
We're
it's like it's one of those.
we're not meant to learn anything though.
Exactly.
We're not. They don't want to teach us anything. Us, people, educated people, they can't benefit from that. We're livestock.
Yeah.
Oh, we're money.
Yeah.
That's it. We're money.
Numbers.
That's why they sent us. They can make a lot of money. There was a number called in here. Somebody said how much money they make off of one male in jail. Who said that?
Yeah. I forgot. What was it?
I think it was somebody behind the
producer,
scenes.
yeah.
That's crazy. We're livestock. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
what
it,
they
that's how-
call it?
And what they feed livestock the worst food. You know what I mean? Just enough to
Exactly.
keep them alive or to fatten them up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So they
Yeah,
can-
that's
so they
it.
can-
We're livestock.
And the way it's going, that's why I said this system is a trap upon a trap upon a trap. Because the way it's going, it's like nobody's gonna have rights anymore. Nobody's gonna have, when you talk about these prisons and things like that, they're gonna take away your rights. And who's in charge of the prisons? Like, it's not the government. You know what I'm saying? So everything looks like it's gonna be privatized, and everybody, it's back to the plantation, back to slavery. So you're gonna be owned now.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Exactly.
We're all owned now. You know what I'm saying? And really, it's set up from the day you were born.
I believe that the answer to all of this is to keep your imagination alive. And that imagination is more important than education. If you keep your imagination alive, you keep custody of your childhood. You can be who you want to be. There's ways to free yourself, but people lose their imagination. They lose hope. You lose your inner child.
And it's-
you
it
want to go
become-
to work and become a robot, and that's
becomes
it. You
easy,
lose.
and that's when you be pigeonholed on a job. But that's when it becomes easy, and they're like, "Oh, we got him now.
Exactly.
I got him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're trained to work to die.
That's it."
That's powerful. We are trained
Yeah.
to work till we die to get used to certain things.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is when you brought that up. Here we go with Social Security, right? Now we got Social Security ages being pushed back and pushed back
Yeah.
and pushed back, and these billionaires really are the money. And you talk about the false reports, because we got a pool of money in Social Security. Social Security is not being depleted. Now you got the media being owned by these billionaires. And today we're gonna report the sky is gonna fall. Now we got there's no more Social Security, there's no more this, there's no more that, no more food stamps. All of that stuff we have a plethora of. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm sorry, let's take a break. We're back from our break, and we're going to continue our conversation. Jerome?
I think we left off talking about just the government, the way that it really there's not. I don't think that there's something defined as the government right now. I just think we have governmental powers, people pulling strings behind the scene, and there's definitely a disconnect from the people. When you talk about billionaires, corporate sectors, and things like that, these guys have control over the government. So, I mean, there's strings that being pulled because, I mean, who gets these guys in office? The corporate sector. So, there's a disconnect on feelings now.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about, we don't care about anybody. He's just a number, and that's how it goes in this system, in this society, because, I mean, it's just like, all right, when you talk about your Social Security, that's your straw man. Now this is the way that the governments can do business with you. When you look at your bill, a bill, whether it be a cable bill, whether it be a light bill, your name is in all caps. So now they're dealing with you as if you're a corporate sector, if you're a corporate entity yourself. So now that's the way that they can. A corporate business can't do business with a person. They have to do business with another corporate entity. So now there's a disconnect. There's no feelings in business. Now there's no feelings in government. Now there's no feelings in the family. Now there's a breakdown in the family. And now nobody has feelings. So I mean, it's a lot that goes into, you know, what a government is and what a government should be. And I'm just saying, be smart. Be smart about, you know, what you're supposed to be doing in life, you know.
Well, what about this, the way they are, you know, just totally disregarding our president?